Hey, my name is Nick, and I would like to tell you about my recent experience with Makita, which wasn't a good one. So, yeah, come along for the journey, and maybe you have a similar story. I finally got my router back. This particular router is a Makita 3620. It's a plunge router, and so basically this tool helps you to do rebates and things like that. This is a plunge plate. It goes up and down, or it's supposed to, and you can set the depth on this blade for cutting different things. I bought this tool in the second year of my apprenticeship for about $260 at Bunnings. I was working for a German builder at the time, and I was up at the crack of dawn, and I was getting home at 6 o'clock, so I didn't have really any time to take this tool back to Makita at the time. I was doing stair stringers, which is it's pretty heavy work. And I was using this tool because my boss expected that his apprentice have his own tools. Now, after about 3 months of using this tool, I noticed a little crack appear here. This is actually the locking mechanism that locks that plate and prevents it from going up and down. And what happened is when Makita designed this tool, they didn't put a steel plate here. They've actually put the weight of that plunge plate on the plastic body, which is why it's cracking there. It should have had a steel plate here, and I'm not sure why Makita didn't do that, but I am sure that they've changed their design now, obviously because they've seen this problem. Now, I sent this tool back, and about 2 days later I got a call from them, and they said, sorry mate, it's going to cost you $240 to repair that. And I said, $240? This tool only cost me $260. It seems a little bit unreasonable to have almost the full cost of the tool in the repair. And he said, well, sorry, that's the way it is. We can't help you. We can't do anything about it. And I said, well, I've posted it all the way down to Sydney. I was hoping you could, at least do something. And I told them it was a design flaw, and they said, no, it wasn't. And I said, yes, my brother had one of these. It broke. He threw it away. My brother's work still has one of these sitting on the shelf, and it's broken in the same place. My boss had one of these, and it's broken in the same place. So if you want to send a rep out, I will personally drive you to those places for you to look at the routers and get some sort of conclusive something out of it. After about, it would be about a year, this split had gone almost all the way down, and what happened is the tool couldn't really be used. It rendered it useless, because if that plate is just hanging in the breeze, then you can't set the depth, so it renders the tool kind of useless. But Makita is standing by the guns and saying, no, it's not a design flaw. And the reason for that is Australian consumer law states that if you have a major problem with a product, the company or business needs to replace that product or repair it, and they don't want to do it. I only send things back to places if there's a major problem, or if there's in fact, this is the only tool electric tool that I've sent back to anywhere. I sent my Spyderco knife to Spyderco. I broke the tip off it, misusing it, and I told them that in the letter I wrote them. Look, I opened a paint tin or a beehive or something, and I know it was misused, but is there a way I can purchase a spare blade? They said no, but we will give you 70% off our entire range if you purchase a knife within the next 15 days, which I did. That was nice. Leatherman, I had a Leatherman core brake. I sent it to them. They said this was the top model. We don't have it anymore, so we'll send you a brand new one. And I asked whether they wanted money for postage. No, don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. And that was really nice for a company to do that. So both those examples are examples of how companies should handle things, I believe. And Makita has been really dogmatic in not doing any of those things. When I said, when he told me, look, it would cost $240, I got really upset, and I said, well, you know what, you can just throw it in the bin or whatever, because I don't want it back. It wasn't until a day later that I thought, you know what, I can make a video and I can show people that if they have one of these routers, they can ask Makita for a refund. And that's really what I'm doing here, is putting a call out to anybody that has one of these Makita routers. If you've had this problem, you are well within your rights. I'll post up a little image of the Australian consumer law taken from the website, and I might even put the website details in that so you can have a look at it. And that's the story of my Makita router. So I have my router back. It's in the same condition I sent it. When I asked them to send it back because I was going to make a YouTube video, they hung on to it, and it's taken me 11 months to get this tool back, because Makita just was really belligerent in not sending it back because they knew I was going to make a video. And I've talked to the head manager. I explained what happened. Nobody from Makita, none of the reps, none of the staff at their Facebook ever said, hey, look, we do want to help you out here. It was do whatever you can to avoid that person. So that's my experience with Makita, and it's a sad one, because I have in recent times invested in all their battery tools, and I wish I hadn't, because I've got no customer service if my tool breaks. I know that if any of those break, Makita's just going to refuse to help me. So there you go, that's my Makita story.